Dateline, Finland, March 1940. After nearly 4 months, the fighting between tiny Finland and the vast Soviet Union has ceased after the signing of the Moscow Peace Treaty, resulting in the Soviet Union gaining more territory than it originally demanded last year. Though it ended up profiting by taking more than 10% of Finland's total territory, the USSR paid dearly for these gains, both in terms of manpower and international reputation, thanks in no small part to the sheer tenacity of the Finnish people against overwhelming odds. Hostilities began in 1939 after the Soviet village of Mayanila near the Finnish border was suddenly and mysteriously shelled by artillery. The USSR claimed the shells originated from the Finnish side of the border, while Finland denied responsibility for the attack, rejected the Soviet demands to move all defenses 15 miles away from the border, and called for a joint Finnish-Soviet commission to examine the incident. The Soviet Union then claimed that the Finnish response was hostile, renounced the non-aggression pact, and severed diplomatic relations with Finland on the 28th of November. 2 days later, Soviet forces invaded Finland with 21 divisions, totaling some 450,000 men, and bombed Helsinki, beginning the Winter War. Let's go to Hank in Mayanila for more about the shelling and the conditions both armies will be expecting to fight in.
Thanks, Yank. I'm standing here on the outskirts of the tiny village of Mayanila, right on the Soviet-Finnish border of the Karelian Isthmus. Only a few meters away, 7 artillery shells landed around the village, and all were detected by 3 Finnish observation posts. According to Soviet reports, the shelling resulted in the deaths of 4 and injuries of 9 other border guards, and Minister of Foreign Affairs Molotov has already blamed Finland for the unprovoked attack. The Finnish side denied responsibility for the attacks and identified Soviet artillery as their source. Indeed, the war diaries of nearby Finnish artillery batteries show that Mayanila was out of range of all of them, as they had been withdrawn previously to prevent such incidents. Irregardless, the incident has given the USSR a valid casus belli to declare war and invade Finland. With the invasion begun, it's actually quite dangerous for me to be standing here, so close to the border. The Finnish army is putting up a stiff defense, and there's even talk about an incredible Finnish sniper who's shooting everyone who's not completely wearing all white. So, I'd better get...
Thanks, Hank. At the beginning of the war, total victory over Finland was expected by the Soviets within 2 weeks due to the recent lightning invasion of Poland 2 months previously. Instead, it took them 4 months, over 150,000 dead, and another 188,000 wounded, just to force a peace treaty rather than occupying the entire country, which was surely their goal. There were many contributing factors that led to the Soviet difficulties in Finland, including the weather. The winter of 1939 to 1940 was exceptionally cold. Stalin's purge of the officer corps years earlier had left the Red Army crippled, but most importantly, the dogged and tenacious defense of the country by the Finnish army. The southern border of Finland had 2 natural choke points the Soviets had to punch through, which limited their vast numerical advantage, and the wider spaces on the eastern border allowed the Finns to employ highly effective guerrilla tactics alongside their mastery of the snowy terrain. Many heroes emerged from the Finnish defense of their country, but it was the legend of the sniper Simo Häyhä, or the White Death as he was called by the Soviets, who became the most well-known. Though the Finns put up a heroic defense of their country, inflicting incredible losses on the Soviet army, it was clear by mid-February that the Finnish forces were rapidly approaching exhaustion, both in terms of manpower and materiel. By this point, the Soviets had finally broken through the Mannerheim Line, a fortified line of defenses between the 2 lakes on the Karelian Isthmus, and were making steady progress inward in some parts of the country. On their side, the Russians had suffered huge casualties. The situation was a source of political embarrassment to the Soviet regime, and with the spring thaw approaching, the Soviet forces risked becoming bogged down in the forests. Thus, a quick peace was desired by both sides. In the face of escalating Soviet demands, Finland accepted all terms and the formal peace treaty was signed in Moscow on the 12th of March. In addition to obtaining all of their pre-war demands, the Soviets gained 11% of the territory and 30% of the economic assets of pre-war Finland, including the city of Viipuri. However, these gains came with a dire cost, most notably the global reputation of the USSR and the allies in the League of Nations who failed to come to Finland's aid. Perhaps more importantly, the very poor performance of the Red Army encouraged Hitler to think that an attack on the Soviet Union would be successful and probably led to Operation Barbarossa, his failed invasion of Russia 15 months later. Peace reigns in this part of the world for now, but how long will it last with the rest of Europe already fighting each other? That remains to be seen. Thanks for watching.